Okay, so moving right along, we were looking at the underlying characteristics of healthy traditional diets, and we've come to number 5, which is high levels of enzymes and beneficial bacteria in these traditional diets. And you'll notice I have a picture of some men in turbans on the screen, and I picture the cells in our body. We have millions of cells in our body, and they're like a walled city. And all kinds of activities are going on in that walled city, all sorts of engines and manufacture and everything. And I see lots of little gremlins and dwarfs and things in these walled cities. But the tall guys with the turbans are the enzymes. They're the magic workers in the cells. Enzymes are special protein-type substances, and it is too loud up here for me. So the men in turbans are the magic workers. They're the enzymes. Enzymes are specialized proteins that are the catalysts for everything to happen in the body. So you can't move an arm or leg or repair or do any kind of biochemical process or even think without enzymes. So they're very important. And scientists have delineated 3 types of enzymes. The main category is the metabolic enzymes. There's literally thousands of these. They are manufactured in your cells. And some of these enzymes, in fact, a very large portion of them have to do with detoxification. They get rid of waste products. They get rid of free radicals. And people ask me a lot about detoxification. It's not a subject I know a lot about, but I am very concerned about people going on very punitive fasts and detoxification regimes. There's something kind of medieval about this, that you have to punish the body to make it pure. And when we're eating properly and supporting our enzyme processes in the body with good nutrition, your body is doing housekeeping all the time. So I think that's very important to understand, that the body itself is pure and clean and knows how to keep itself clean, even when we're eating. The second category are the digestive enzymes. There are about 22 of these. They are manufactured in the pancreas and the salivary glands. And these are what digest our food. And then finally we have the food enzymes, amylases for digesting carbohydrates, lipases for digesting fats, and proteases for digesting proteins. When we have enzymes in our food, these help digest our food, and they spare the body from having to make digestive enzymes. So the more enzymes we have in our food, the less your body has to work at digestion. And this is what the primitive peoples all knew instinctively, that when you had these enzyme-rich foods in the diet, it gave you strength and stamina. It's interesting, there was a study done with dogs on enzymes, and dogs very well understand the principle of enzyme nutrition. Dogs will bury meat and bury bones, and when they get really rotten, they dig them up and eat them. And when they eat these rotten meats, they're getting lots of enzymes to help their digestion. They did a study with dogs where they were only given cooked food. They were on concrete. They couldn't bury any of their food. And the dogs were observed. They did autopsies on the dogs. And what they found was that the pancreas and the salivary glands on the dogs were enlarged. And they were enlarged because they had to work harder producing all the enzymes to digest the food. And when certain organs get bigger, other organs have to compensate by getting smaller. And the organs that got smaller on these dogs, first of all, was the brain, and then the reproductive organs. So if you want to be smart and have a good sex life, you need to have some food enzymes in your diet. Enzymes are destroyed by heat. They begin to be destroyed at 118 degrees wet heat. It's just about the temperature if you stick your finger in a liquid, if it burns, if you take it out. That's about the temperature that the enzymes are getting destroyed. And 150 degrees dry heat, like baking something in the oven. So you want enzymes in your food, but it's important to realize that just because a food is raw does not necessarily mean it's rich in enzymes. The enzyme-rich foods are special foods, starting with raw dairy products. I mean, raw milk is loaded with enzymes, and that's why you don't want to heat the milk, because that gets rid of the enzymes. raw meat and fish, especially if they're well aged. Raw honey. Honey is full of amylases that digest carbohydrates. That's why it's such a wonderful sweetener. The tropical fruits, papaya, banana, pineapple, mango, are very rich in enzymes, especially enzymes that help us digest protein. And the fruits from this region of the world are not good sources of enzymes, but the tropical fruits are. Cold pressed oils, wine, and unpasteurized beer. This is why these foods help with digestion. And finally, what we focus in on are the lactofermented foods. These are foods that have been prepared by a process called lactofermentation. And this is a preservation method that greatly increases the enzyme content. Think of sauerkraut. Think of our lactofermented foods that we're selling downstairs. So you can lactoferment vegetables, meats, salami is a lactofermented food, old-fashioned salami. Yogurt is a lactofermented food. You can make chutneys. You can lactoferment fish, something called gravlax, which is lactofermented salmon, and beverages such as the grain-field beverage that I'm drinking, and all of our wonderful sodas and kombucha that are lactofermented. The other thing that you find in these types of lactofermented foods is lots of healthy bacteria. And we have seen an amazing, a very interesting shift in the medical paradigm just within the last 10 years. The old paradigm was that the healthy body was sterile and microbes attack us and that makes us sick. We now know that we live in a symbiotic relationship with microorganisms, and in a healthy person, there's about 6 pounds of healthy bacteria lining the digestive tract. They actually form a biofilm on the entire surface of the digestive tract. And these bacteria help us digest our food, help us absorb the nutrients in the food. They actually create vitamins. They protect us against toxins. 85% of our immune system is this healthy biofilm in the gut. Now, earlier I was talking about mercury. And if you have a good biofilm, that will keep out mercury. It will keep out pathogens. It will keep out heavy metals. It will keep out pesticides. So it's very important to maintain that healthy biofilm. And we do this with lactofermented foods rich in bacteria. These bacteria, these good bacteria, even produce feel-good chemicals. So they help us feel good. So without these good bacteria, we are dead. Unfortunately, the whole juggernaut of our medical system still thinks bacteria are bad. And it certainly, they certainly can be bad in situations like surgery. They can be bad in food processing plants. I mean, there are bad bacteria, no doubt, but most of the bacteria are good and we need them. And so this has become well known. It's, there's all sorts of studies on this. This is not something that's on the fringe. This is accepted science. This was in the Washington Post. But it's interesting to me that the illustration they have here is still this sort of mechanistic, gears and stuff. So we put our focus on lactofermented condiments. These are eaten in small amounts with cooked food. I like to refer to these as super raw foods. I'm not in favor of an all-raw diet, but I don't worry about cooking my food because you make up for any possible enzymes lost through cooking with these super raw foods. These are recipes from Nourishing Traditions. We have pickled beets. We have a ginger carrot that's pickled carrots. This is a spicy South American cabbage called cortito, coleslaw, and we had this for lunch, actually. You can lactoferment fruits. This is pineapple, this is raspberries, and this is apricot butter. All very delicious lactofermented. We're also very interested in the lactofermented beverages, the healthy soft drinks, and this is very much needed in our culture, an alternative between alcoholic beverages and the modern soft drinks. And you see the one here is the Grainfields drink that I'm drinking. We have lots of vendors selling kombucha and other healthy soft drinks at the conference. All right, the sixth underlying